Welcome to Panathafan International. We've got Nick and Panathafan, as well as myself, the Aussie contingent, ready to discuss. Welcome, boys.
Welcome.
So, Nick, good evening.
I think this is going to be the last podcast before the it starts intensifying with European games, derbies. Let's get straight to it. So the recent game, Panathinaikos played against Panathinaikos. We were 3-1 victors. We opened the scoring through Tete. It was a build-up. Mladenovic found himself some space on the left-hand side, drilled the ball in, found an unmarked Tete for the tap-in. Few minutes later, Panathinaikos threatened. We cleared the danger for an early warning sign, and then they scored, which was pretty poor defending. Giving the ball away sloppy, plays out of position, and then Djuri came on and scored a double. The first one was probably fortunate, so to make it 2-1 in the 81st minute, where Panathinaikos player was down. I think a ball, I don't know if it was from Mladenovic, found, I believe it was Tete on the right wing. Then he played a pass to Djuri outside the box, and he placed it past the keeper. And then 88th minute, Djuri won the ball in the middle of the field. He carried it down and just released a rocket from outside the box past the keeper on his weaker foot as well, on his right foot. So probably the best goal for Panathinaikos is scored. Let's kick off how you guys view the match.
Nick, you can lead the way.
All right. Would you call it an improvement based on our last game before that, Bob? I don't even know. If you can, it's very, very minor. It's Djuri has come on and essentially saved Alonso, and he's given Alonso a stay of execution, and it all goes on the line this upcoming weekend in the match against AEK away. As for this game, as I said, if it was an improvement, it was very minor. We started. I mean, we got our goal, which is something we haven't sort of done to start the season in the league. We got the nice early goal, nice lead. Then even before they made it 1-1, this is what pissed me off the most. Before their goal, the alarm bells were ringing. That should have been the moment. That should have been a sign to our players. Stop the right there. Mladenovic gives the ball away, trying to play out from the back, and he gives Panathinaikos with a good chance. They miss, but a few minutes later, they come down and score to make it 1-1. And our reaction after going ahead was just, it's mind-blowing. It's not good enough. We got to be doing a lot better than that. That's Alonso that's on Alonso and the players combined. That's on both of them. Then it took us a while again to get going. As I said, thank God Djuri came on and got us 3 points in this game. Second goal, as Sterg said, his first goal bit for Chudis, he took a deflection. The third goal that was goal of the round. That was a bomb goal. Absolute beauty. Very pleased with the performance of Unahi as well in this game. He deserves a lot of praise. He's someone I think going forward we're going to be calling on to make a difference on all fronts, really, in the midfield. He can do a bit of everything. He can be that box-to-box 8. He can. I don't think we're going to see him deep as a 6 because we've got guys like Arao and Maksimovic, but we could see him, especially this weekend, in a game that we might not have as much possession as what we'd like against AEK away. He could be playing further forward as the number 10 instead of Bakasetas. We'll just have to wait and see. Bakasetas not up to it again, was he? I don't know. Is that Alonso to fit him in? Is that Bakasetas failing to adapt because we saw what he did for the Ethniki? The mystery man Bulldog came on and did okay. Right back. It's a shame Max at left back is just missing. That signing's rapidly turning into be a bad one because we're stuck again with Mladenovic who tries, but we know what we're going to get defensively, and the good teams especially are going to target him. Dragovski made a couple of very nice saves in this game. to date, easily our player of the season. Forty was pretty quiet in this game. And Tete, probably second behind Dragovski for player of the season so far.
I would be probably a little bit different in terms of the assessment. And Nick, and not disagreeing with anything he's saying, but I probably saw more of an improvement from previous games in the way we've played. And that's not to say we played well at all. I think we've still got a long way to go, but probably saw more balance in the squad compared to some of the games that we've seen previously, right? So I'll probably leave that comment there. Because in the second half, I thought our second half was reasonable. The first half was terrible after we scored the goal. I think we just scored the goal and switched off. But the second half was okay. So it was an improvement in some of the real poor performances we've had in the Super League to date. Probably for me though, what I saw this game, we've seen so far in every game, is that the team is not balanced right. It's not matching up well between the lines still. And I think that the goal we conceded is a perfect example of that, where the midfield and defence and the forward line are still not clicking well. Nick, I agree with you in terms of Bakaseta and his performance, but I do think it's more how the team is set up in the midfield that's exposing him that way, as opposed to himself. I feel like the Unahi, Bakaseta, and Arao trio in the midfield is not the right mix.
Yeah, no, that I agree with.
Yeah, I just from little I've seen, and we haven't seen much to be honest. The little I've seen, I probably prefer Arao Maximovic in the middle, and maybe
Yep.
one of the two Arao Unahi or Bakaseta in front of them.
I
As
think
the
that's
10.
what we're going to see in the next game. Maximovic will come in. That's my gut feel.
But look, and it would still feel like Alonso hasn't worked out yet what's the best midfield mix, what's the best mix all round. And that was the first game that he started, so it is still a bit of a trial for that as well. There's still a bit of a trial in terms of certain positions, like the right back. If Vaganidi started, I would have preferred he started, but I don't think he had a great game.
No.
And that's, I think, where we're still learning. We're still learning about this team. So for me, I'll give the game a pass mark, not anything more, but just a pass, because we're still looks like we're trying to find what the right mix is. But yeah, I can't say I'm impressed overall. But look, the right result, it's bought Alonso time, and we'll talk about that further during the pod. But I think it's probably bought him a few weeks of the upcoming schedule. But am I happy with the style of play I'm seeing? No, I'm not.
We're not seeing what we were promised early doors. I mean, Botev was pretty good, particularly the second leg. Then Ajax, we saw glimpses of it. Ever since then, it's eluded us. It's completely disappeared. Whatever he'd spoken about, it's like a mishmash. Whatever we just throw together. Defense is a shambles still. Vayanidis, as you said, he was a big part to blame in the goal we conceded. Ball out to his side. Midfield, all our problems stem from there. Then I guess the final third is something, I don't know.
Yeah, and
final third's probably the least of our worries.
But you mentioned Forty, and didn't make much of an impression. Yeah, and I probably don't blame him for that. I think it probably
it's a service.
It's a service and the style of the setup
of course
how we're playing.
What I will say though is the ref again. I hate talking about it, but and you can throw VAR into this. How we didn't get a penalty in the first half, and you can see their keeper screaming, "I got the ball! I got the ball!" You can get the ball, but you can still foul, and that's what happened there. He got the ball and he punched Vayanidis in the head.
I thought the one on Pellistri was more of a penalty though than that one. So there was contact on Pellistri in the box where the defender you can see he made contact with the leg, and that one didn't get reviewed. So that's the one that I'm actually more surprised about.
But I agree both with penalties, and the punch to the head. Well, I don't care if there's 3 inches of ball between your fist and the head. When you went to punch it, his head was already there. That's a
Exactly.
penalty. I'm sorry, but it doesn't impact the result. So
Luckily, yeah.
it's irrelevant whether it was or wasn't. To be fair, it's for me. It was more interest in terms of again how we're playing, and that's obviously the talk of the town at the moment.
Of course. It's First and foremost, we've got to look at our own, what we can control. Absolutely.
But one thing I will call out was their keeper. I thought their keeper was quite good.
Yeah, I think he pulled off. I can't remember from who, but he pulled off a fantastic save. Can't remember if it was from Palacio or Baka. Can't remember, but there was one save that he did was impressive. But yeah. Look, I'll start with what I did like from this game. We got 3 points. Unahi got his debut, and I thought he had a very good attacking dimension. From what he offered, I think it was much better than seeing Maximovic in that 8. What he's delivered, Saren, he's a tired, so he probably needs a little bit more of a break to see the best of him. Defensively, though, there's a few question marks. What also I did like is Tete again on the score sheet. When we signed him, there were questions about his goal scoring. Is he capable? Just due to his past, especially in Turkey, he's already smashing it. So, but for me, I don't know. I didn't like what we put out there. I don't know if there was improvements. I don't know what the game plan is. When I watch the game, it feels like we're relying on winger brilliance and a lot of the time an individual brilliance from the winger to make something happen. That is then leaving 40 isolated, being marked out. Um, you're just seeing him getting marked out because there's no plan on getting him the ball or just a structure, a set play, anything like that. We've seen it with Leon where thought he had to come back, get the ball, do the dribble himself to score that goal. So I don't know what the play is. It doesn't look like there's a set structured play going forward. We're just waiting on Tete to do something. We're waiting on Police Street to do something, and they're fantastic players, but they're going to get red. They're going to get marked heavy. They're going to, the style of play gets them isolated. Bakasetas is fairly anonymous as well. I think with that individual play, he's not suited to that system. We only scored because we shifted the formation to a 4-4-2 as well, and that's when we created a little bit more space, and we just had a little bit more attacking threat, throwing an extra forward up there. But I wasn't impressed with what I saw, and for me, Djuri saved Alonso's job. Maybe on the 2-1, but definitely the 3-1 gave him bought him another week. I'm really disappointed with Aral. I thought he was our weakest player on the field. He's been ever since we signed him last season, been one of our best players, consistent. There's been a couple of games where I think he's in that same boat with Bakasetas, where he's lost in his system. He doesn't know how to defend or where to defend. There was some sloppy readings that he did, not winning the header. There was also, I think the ball came to him outside the box, and the Panathinaikos player won the ball from him. Strong tackle on Aral. Aral went down. Aral was calling for a free kick, but the player just won the ball, and they almost scored from that. I just feel he's either not playing at his best at the moment, or he's not definitely playing at his best at the moment. But I feel in this system that Alonso's deployed, he looks lost out there, and I think we're seeing that between him and Bakasetas, and Unahi didn't look like a defender, someone that can defend. So that's where the midfield's going to struggle, especially without the ball. When Unahi's not defending too well, Arao's just looking all sorts. It was just very painful watching, in my opinion.
So
Yeah.
you got Arao who, well, forget about Arao. You got Unaki who doesn't track back as much as you want. Like I said, he's not a box to box midfielder.
No.
So it all falls on Arao in that midfield in terms of the running back and defensive part. But yeah, that's not him there. That's not his style. And that's where, again, I don't think the mix of players or the system Alonso want is right. And that's where until it's proven otherwise, I think the Maksimovic-Aral partnership's probably been more effective in terms of being able to better link up the lines. But one of the things I did read as well, which I thought was quite a good point, is that we don't have a ball playing centre back like we did with Magnussen, who was able to
Yeah.
take the ball forward and help distribute and get the ball moving between the lines. At the moment, that's definitely not Henderson. It's it's Jedvaj, and that's not Jedvaj's natural game.
Well, and we'll get to it soon. But do you throw in Arao in that centre back role for
Yeah.
Jedvaj, or and
You,
Maxim as your 6?
you beat me to it.
That to me sounds more logical as an option because I just think that our balance between the whole squad is out from the back line right up until the final third. I mean, you're not going to change 40 in terms of our striker, and you're not going to change Pelistri or Tete, but everything up until that number 10 position is just, it's not clicking well. And I think that it all starts from the centre back position. I mean, I love to see Magnussen get form and come back into the squad, but for some reason he's not even making the squad. But the other thing you hit the head sturge. Adal's proven as a centre back. I think he had a great season last year as a centre back.
And he can play that left centre back role. And he was
Yep.
there with the Jedvaj. It was actually a working centre back partnership. So, I was also going to make the point where, sorry, my mind just went blank. Go on.
If we haven't seen Aral at centre back until now, honestly, I don't think we're going to see it under this coach. I think I agree with both of you guys. That's what should happen. The other thing, and I think it was Panathafan that said it before with Ingerson, is this something Alonso's addressing with him? Like, okay, how are you going to teach a 30-plus-year-old centre back now something that's not his game? But are you working on it at least?
Yeah,
Are
I
you
don't
trying
think
to improve it?
my guess is not. Hence why Jedvaj's taken that role more so. But even then, we just seem to be passing around and trying to get it to our fullbacks and let them do it. And so we put more pressure on them to actually try to take the ball forward and do a build up. And I don't think that any of our fullbacks are really adept at that. Look, I think Mladenovic he's got his shortcomings. I don't think he's a great fullback, but for what he is, he's been doing okay. I can't fault the guy too much.
Oh, the effort's there, always with him.
I just remembered my point. But yeah, look, why I'm also disappointed is we allowed Panathinaikos to have about 12 to 15 shots on us. That is not good enough for a team that's sitting, I think, last or wherever they're.
Last.
So that's a huge concern that we once again allowed a team to take so many shots. We've seen it with Kalithea that took about 20 odd shots. We saw Levedakos, we saw Asteras Tripolis do the same thing. We're just allowing these lowly teams to just pound the shots on us. And thank God we've got Dragowski because you know, I fear a different keeper may have conceded a few more.
Agree.
Yeah, so
But
when you look at the stats, like the shooting stats, it's just ridiculous that we allowed them. Yeah, they made their possession with very little possession. They just took a shitload of shots on us. Just not good enough. Not good enough from our point of view. And that they probably could have. And before we made it 2-1, they had a big chance as well to make it 2-1. So there's a lot of question marks on the team performance, and this is reflecting on how we're playing poorly. Is also reflecting on Alonso
Oh,
because there's a lot of this. There's a lot of concern from the fans. A lot of bombs coming out. You know, fans wanting him gone. You see it on social media. Fans
look,
don't want.
the fans are, and I can understand why they're not happy because we're not happy as well in terms of what we're seeing. I do feel like the fan base is far more sensitive at the moment than anything going wrong. They've probably got far less patience than what they did, say, same time last year, Ivanovic. I think we were more tolerant of slip ups, whereas I don't think Alonso is getting that amount of patience or support. Granted, Ivanovic earned that, right? And I don't think he deserved that, to be fair. But I don't think that Alonso is really being given any leeway by our fans. I think that from the first moment he's been under pressure, and
he's been back.
That's a thing.
Ivan wasn't back, well, not even a quarter like this.
yeah, not by the administration, 100%. No question. Ivan did not have the budget or have the players, but I'll make a controversial statement. I don't know if Ivan would have wanted to sign some of these players. And I'll make a good example is Dede. I don't think that's Ivan's style of player because he doesn't track back as much. He does expose that right hand side from a defending point of view. And that's definitely not Ivan's style. Ivan would have wanted, like look at Palacios. Palacios was
Workhorse.
running back up and down, right?
Yeah, workhorse.
Yeah, whereas that there's not that type of player. I love that there in terms of what he creates and the fact he's scoring and he's scoring in big games as well. But would Ivan have signed him as a player? Probably not.
No.
And you
But
wouldn't have signed Palistra either.
yeah, Balistri, out of the two, I would have said Balistri would have been the one he wouldn't have signed.
But on the flip side, if you look at our standings, we're seventh at the moment. Where the table is, we're 5 points behind first, 6 goals in 5 games and 4 conceded. So if it wasn't for the Panathafan game, we were 3 goals in 4 games, and we had conceded 3 goals as well in 4 games. So, and the performances that we're putting out aren't pretty.
That's what it is. With Ivan, at least we were seeing, even if we'd lose 9 times out of 10, we'd see the effort, we'd see a game plan, and that's what led to the patience. We're not seeing anything in these
Can I,
performances. We're on a
can I,
hiding to nothing.
the one thing though about the results we've had in the Super League so far. So we who did we lose against? It was Estero we lost against,
That's
wasn't
opening day.
Their
it?
only
Yeah.
victory is against us.
Right. But we had a red card halfway through that, if I recall correctly.
And,
So we were
and there
playing
was
with
an
10 men.
offside, the
Yeah.
controversial offside.
So things worked against us that day. Then we drew against Galicia, and let's be honest, Galicia is holding their own up against all clubs, and they drew against AEK, and potentially they could have had a win. So Galicia, you could say, you know what, they are not a bad team. We drew against PAOK and Dumba, and I think a draw in Dumba is not a bad result.
I'll
And
give
now we've got this. So the actual results are not as bad as what we initially see them as in terms of total points.
Right, it's
We
performances.
we beat Ajax in Amsterdam and we lost against penalties. We knocked out Lons in obviously for the Conference League group stage. So he achieved what we wanted him to achieve in terms of Europe against much stronger clubs. So on a results basis, can't be too hard on this guy. It's the way he's playing that is what we don't like.
For me, Carl, if he has a promoted team who hasn't got a win and we drew 2-2 and they put 20 shots on us, that shouldn't happen. That
Don't disagree. Don't disagree, but they
and,
are a well drilled team. And
and delivered that
again,
game. We won 1-0 in the
At the
96th
death.
with Metozori, as they said, as
yep.
they say. So, and that was also a dull game. So for me, we against the low opposition, they're the ones that are giving us most trouble. So
If we were winning these games with 1-0 and late goals and draw at Dumba, but if we were seeing what we were told in his first few press conferences about the energy and the high press and attacking play, there'd be, I wouldn't say no complaints, but there'd be a lot less noise surrounding his future. It's that we're not seeing a game plan. As I said, we're on a hiding. It feels like we're on a hiding to nothing.
So at what point do you say enough's enough?
This is the thing.
I think he's on a week-to-week basis.
Probably
It-
because if we beat AEK and lose to Olympiacos, hypothetically, you're probably right. That's probably not enough.
Because in my opinion, the result against AEK shouldn't be a trigger for him to be sacked. I mean, it's in now Philadelphia, right? It's a hard game regardless. You can't expect, we can't demand 3 points away at AEK based on where the season's at, and they're not playing in Europe either.
If he does a Terry and we lose 3-0.
If you lose big, fair enough. But if it's a 1-0 loss, I don't think that's a trigger. I think the call to sack him, if that's the call that it needs to be made, that's going to be after the next 3 games. You've got Banja Luka, and then you've got Olympiacos. It's after the Olympiacos game where I think that'll determine his fate. If we win one of the two against AEK and Olympiacos and not lose big in the other one, then I think that it's still not, in my opinion, 100% he's got to go. I'm probably more concerned about the Banja Luka game. Because for me, that is a must win.
And he has to rotate. That's the game for me where he has to rotate.
Well,
Yeah.
our next 6 games are disaster almost. I know we'll go to because we're still sticking with the Alonso topic, but the next 6 games, I don't see how he survives this. We've got AEK away, we've got the Conference League against Borac, we've got the Gravity a few days later, Orfi away, who are shown to be pretty decent this year. Chelsea at home, Aris at home, and Aris does have some quality in that team. So what's the benchmark? What's the pass mark there?
4 points from the next 2 league games and a win in Bosnia.
Will that
Yeah.
a lot of the pressure? Would you say, or
Until the next international break, it would.
I know that may come across as I'm defending Alonso. It's not that. For me, the biggest concern I've got is to get rid of him. I want to have the confidence that we've got a backup plan that's already there and lined up that's going to be acceptable. And I have zero confidence that's the case. We're relying on Mr. Spreadsheet Man, Papa Dimitrio, to be able to take ownership of a bad appointment. And I don't think he's got any ability to take ownership of his mistakes.
I think it's beyond him because he hired him. So if Alonso goes, he has to go.
And I think he has to go now. If anything,
I agree with that too.
there's let's wait for the results and see how the team's performing. I think that he really has to go first in order for us then to be able to make a good call on a coaching future.
He's failed to sell players that are on sizable wages. That's a big fail from his end. He's hired the coach that's already under the pump. There's the rumors of a rift between the two. Since one of the early season, I can't see how first Alonso isn't in big trouble, and also Papa Dimitriou also. I don't know how both of them. I'd more surprised Papa Dimitriou was still in the job, but Alonso is skating on very thin ice at the moment.
And you make good points too in terms of Papa Dimitriou. He's there to manage the budget of the team in terms of contracts. And you're right, you've got players like Vilena and Verbic who are there still and couldn't find a club. I mean, sorry, mate, you should have done something about it. And the only one that really left was Aitor. And
Paying €150,000 termination fee.
and if I'm correct, when he's gone to Cyprus to rejoin with his old
Rocker.
PD, that was Panathafan.
Xavi Rocker.
So yes, that's it, Rocker. So it's his mate. He knows him. He just went to rejoin him. It wasn't like Papa Dimitriou did something to help him find a club and get rid of it. It's just sheer luck. So sorry, he's failed. And we can say, oh, he did a great job of signing these players. The reality is, these players got an opportunity to earn great coin.
Do you really
we're
think
looking for a
he
club.
signed Bellistri?
No.
Oh, no, clearly not.
We definitely know that's a
Alonso
signing. That
what about his failure to give Vayanidis a new deal? The kid's on €90,000. And you got guys like Vilena in excess of 1 million.
Apparently there was allegedly an offer of 500,000 a year. Not too sure the legitimacy of that one. But he was offered 500,000. I'm not too sure if he's going to accept. I know Baldock is on around close to the 900,000 mark. So watch this space. We need to tie down Vayanidis ASAP as well.
900,000 for Baldock.
He's almost on close to that figure. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep. So
it's the biggest budget in Greece. That's the other thing, the pressure that's building on Alonso compared to Jovanovic. It's the biggest now, the most expensive budget in Greece. And we're not seeing anything.
No, not at all.
Out players and terminated one player that cost us money to terminate. So
and we forgot about Feinheisler.
Still
guy
there.
got loaned
Still
out.
there.
Yeah. Trier.
Still there.
Yeah. What's Nicker doing? Is he actually around?
Not favoured. He was injured and then not favoured by Alonso. Palmer Brown?
Apparently he's training well.
Training, I know. But is he gonna get in the match day squad anytime soon?
No.
One last week or something, 2 weeks ago.
Was he in the squad?
I may have been mistaken, but they were saying Magnuson is close. I think he'll be in full fitness in October. I read somewhere.
It goes to the point though that the squad management is poor, and again, I have no issue if Alonso was sacked tomorrow, knowing we've got an experienced, reputable coach already lined up. Oh, but I've got zero confidence that's the case, unless Alafuzo and his Turkish mate, is it Acuña, have got something lined up as a special. Otherwise, no.
Our history would support that. We went from the stability of Jovanovic to the chaos of Terin.
And I would have preferred 13 today, to be honest. I'd say that 13 with his squad actually would have done a better job.
Terim was right all along. He
Yeah.
wanted to get rid of 10 players.
Yep.
And when we did our pods, we identified that that's what we needed to do.
Well, his parting words were when he left was my plan didn't match with Alafuzos's.
Yep.
So all the problems Alafuzos, Papadimitriou, Alonso. In that order.
And I feel sorry for Alonso in a way because
For sure.
he's their choice, but then he's the one that's going to get thrown under the bus.
Yep.
And ultimately, the guys that are making the calls will live to fight another day.
It was the second.
That's what disappoints me, and that's why I feel like, you know what, if the results keep coming through okay, Alonso deserves to be given a bit more time. The next 3 weeks is going to prove that.
It was the second choice. It wasn't even the main choice.
Yeah, that too.
But yeah, I think we'll give it our last thoughts on the Alonso topic. But yeah, for me, I think any failure against AEK, loss, especially greater than 2 goals, he's gone. It will be potentially -11 from bulk if are we 8 points? No, 5. Are we
5.
5.
Yeah, so we potentially will be 8 points behind bulk.
Exactly.
Could be. So I think that itself is grounds for sacking.
If he can get a draw there, as I said, rotate in Bosnia and then beat Olympiacos, and hopefully it's going to be a packed AEK. Tickets are on sale for that one, starting from €10 again. So hopefully that's packed. As I said, we're gonna have to rotate in Bosnia because it's only a few days beforehand.
Well, we've touched on the AEK game a bit, or on AEK being our next opponent. So
They've been patchy though themselves.
well, they're coming second. They're 3 wins, 2 draws.
They've only conceded 1 goal.
Yeah. They should have had against Volos a penalty against them for that shocking handball.
Yeah.
Was it Volos or Levitakos?
Olympiacos away.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was a shocking call. But yeah, 9 goals scored, 1 goal conceded. But they haven't really come up against anyone tough, really. They, yeah, if you look at their results, they've had pretty easy opponents. Apart from Morphe. Morphe, they drew 1-1 against Lamia. They've had Levitakos, they've had Volos. They've had a soft draw, starting draw. They got eliminated early on in the conference league against the biblical team of Noah's Ark, and now we got them. We know Levi Garcia will be ruled out for that game with an injury. I think this game's going to be fairly interesting game. It's going to be a battle, in my opinion, of 2 coaches with a similar philosophy. One's actually implemented the philosophy better than the other one. It's weird because, in my opinion, the AEK team, I don't think is a well-balanced AEK team.
No.
They sold a lot of good players, but I don't think they've strengthened where they needed to, especially in defense. Their attack is still very good by names. Eliasson always destroys us. He plays always very well. They got Koita. We mentioned Levi Garcia is out. They've got Pereira in that midfield. But I feel like their defense, even though they've conceded 1 goal, is their Achilles heel. They signed Piero, who we're familiar with from Maccabi Haifa, so he'll be a threat in the air. But we do have some big boys that can manage him. But I think this game has got me confused because we're meant to be a team of good attacking, so is AEK. They've implemented well in what we've seen, a good high press where we haven't really shown much of it. But AEK haven't been tested as of yet either. So I think it's gonna be an interesting game. How do you boys see it?
I think, well, the coaches, they'd be familiar with each other. They would have faced against each other in the past, surely.
Yeah, in the
Mexico,
MLS. Oh, Mexico,
MLS,
sorry,
yeah.
Mexico, yeah.
So they know each other. That's hopefully for our sake. Hopefully, we don't want. This is the thing. People listening, like we don't. It's not like we're saying we want Alonso to get sacked. In an ideal world, we win all these games, and if we're winning, he stays on. But I don't care as long as we're winning. But are we going to win? This is the whole thing now. I think it's going to unfold in a way similar to the bulk game at Tumba, from our point of view, where we're going to be not reluctant to take risks, but we're going to shore things up and try and keep that clean sheet first and foremost in this game.
I'd be
think
happy.
that
Yeah, sorry.
No, I was going to say, I think it'll be the bulk game in terms of the blueprint. We'll throw Maxime, John Varel, or maybe a little bit more defensive minded in the midfield. We'll play like absolute garbage in the first half, and then hopefully we don't concede. And then the second half will show more signs of life and play better football. So I would suspect that we'll probably be going for a nil or draw.
Exactly. That's what I mean.
And I'd take a nil or draw, to be honest.
Provided we beat Olympiacos the week after.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
I think a result against AEK, because we haven't won there at AS Sofia.
Yeah.
It's been a bit of a bogey ground at the moment. So I definitely would take a draw, considering the circumstances. But even against Bulk, it was fairly even. We had big chances right on half time and once again right on full time where their keeper saved them. They amazing save, but Jankowski did a couple of big saves himself. But could be again a smash and grab, bit of 40 on the end of something, just getting out of nowhere. It's hard to tell the form on this because I haven't really come up against anyone quality, so it's a bit of false form. While we know we've got the quality, but it hasn't translated purely on the pitch.
But we've been tested though, right? With Ajax and Lons
We've been
And Bulk.
yeah
and Bulk as well. That's right. Yeah.
we've had a bit of
So
adversity, a bit of tough schedules, and we've handled each assignment. Hasn't been pretty. I don't think the Lons game was a great performance, but the result is what matters. And I'm hoping here that we just get the result. We can excuse the performance. It is a derby. It is our second biggest or second most hated opponent, and we know the hostilities have increased in the past few seasons.
But yeah, it depends on how. If and what I'm trying to say is, I would prefer a more defensively minded approach to the game. I don't think that's Alonso's style. It's not his DNA to set up a team that way. The concern is that we're either going to be having 20 shots on goal from AEK, and chances are they're going to score at least one. Or the alternative is we are going to maybe try to be defensive, but we're going to create absolute bugger all. So we don't have that balance.
And we're coming to the game as quite underdogs. AEK is definitely favourites, followed by the draw. Then we're underdogs in that.
Not surprised by that though.
Yeah, same.
I think what's working in our favour though, especially against the just reading the reports, especially against the Califare game, their midfield wasn't firing at all. So that could be a positive. I'm not too sure what they're carrying, any injuries, anything like that. But definitely apart from Levi Garcia, but We know,
Wasn't Gacinovic he was out as well, wasn't
yeah, I don't know his status if he will be fit to play. But we know their midfield has been fairly ordinary, which might work in our favor considering our midfield is a bit anonymous at the moment, depending on what Alonso puts out there.
he? Either way, there's not much confidence in his chat when it comes to our prospects for a win.
I think we're going back a few years where each game now we're looking at,
Yeah, individually.
yeah, I don't think we can win this. I think that's where I think we've gone back to about 4 or 5 years pre-Yova where wins aren't as easy as they're coming as they should be.
What do we reckon in terms of well, what we will do compared to what we think we'll see? So obviously Dragovski picks himself. Right back, you think he's going to start Vayanidis?
I reckon he gives the job to Bulldog.
I was thinking that too. I think that's one change I'll be expecting to see is that.
Because he, as I said at the top of the show, I thought he came on and did okay against Panathafan.
Yep.
Centre backs, I don't think he's going to deviate from Ingerson and Jedvai.
Showed a little bit more physicality.
Sorry, Bulldog?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I was pleased with him, as I said. Do you think Sturge is going to deviate centre backs?
No.
I agree.
No.
Left back, Mladenovic by default.
Yeah.
Yep.
As we said, at least he tries. We know what we're going to get. Hopefully, he can keep it together defensively. Aral 6. I'd like to see Maximovic 8. I don't know if we're going to see that though.
I think we're going to see Maximovic and Unahi. I think Bakasetas will be given a rest in this game.
For Borats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we'll no doubt see the front three.
Yeah, no. They as I said, they're the least of our worries.
I think we'll see that front three. But
that front three, they'll probably, maybe not 40, but at least one of the wingers will have to also start in Bosnia.
yeah, is Mancini still suspended?
No, I don't think so.
Do we have any players out? No.
No.
Oh, but we might see the.
Well, if it's Mancini, you think he's going to do both in Bosnia with Yeremeyev?
I'd say there's a good chance we'll see Mancini start.
Yeah, Mancini, and then the other wing.
Maybe Djuri.
I don't.
In Bosnia.
Left wing, yeah. Djuri has been playing the left wing. I'd say for him not.
And then you think he's going to keep 40 feet for Olympiacos and start Yeremeyev?
Yes.
We're talking a whole new look front three in Bosnia.
Well, I think we played against Botev like that.
These guys are better though.
I don't know. I haven't even followed them, but yeah,
They pushed PAO all the way, especially at Tumba only a couple of months ago.
I think the other boys are gonna review that and have a better outlook than what I have. I'm unprepared for that conversation.
No, of course we got it. Well, of course, one game at a time.
But yeah,
In terms of the AEK though, you definitely have the front three. You start your strongest front three, no question. If the pressure's on, and it sounds like he's feeling the pressure, he would not risk an experimental lineup against A.
no, you're right. You're right. I'd see full strength. The only thing is, yeah, Maximovic coming in, but yeah, Mladenovic has the job because Philip Max is still, according to reports, not ready. He's not fit, match fit. He's come in from a interrupted preseason from Frankfurt, and he's just seen himself injured with us because he's not ready. So
that's another Papadimitriou howler. The whole from Yanulis to Rebozzo to all those other names being linked, Aaron Martin, Enzo Diaz, and the myriad of other names. We're thinking Spanish league and all that. We end up with a German most of us hadn't heard of or seen play before, and he's not match fit.
The thing is with Philip Max, though, he comes from a reputable CV, especially with 3 caps Germany. So I think it's unfair to judge him on that. He's just not match fit. We don't know what his preseason was like. It was definitely disrupted with the Frankfurt being with Frankfurt. But yeah, he's probably 1 month away from being match fit and ready to go.
He got injured eating moussaka monasteraki. I don't know. He's been with the squad for over a month now. You think he should be right. You think that our elite dietitians and gymnasts would have picked up on his physical state when they tested him at signing and said, right, for the next month, this is your program.
But that's the thing. They said when they did his physicals, there was no issues.
What was the physical? Hello there, thought I come and have a beer with us. We'll sign off. You'll be right. Don't worry.
That was in the middle of summer.
Yeah, I know. Up and kneel down the road. Let's go have a foot up there. We'll be fine, Max.
But yeah, for me, look, I think he needs a bit more time himself, but Mladenovic has the job.
Papa Dimitriou took him out for a bite to eat and said, "Don't worry, young Diego's one of my boys. I'll get you in the squad. You'll be right."
Vamos, vamos.
Vamos.
But back to the Rebozzo point, I think that you just refreshed my memory. That was, I think, the contention of the big fallout between Alonso and Papa Dimitriou.
Who? Alonso wanted him. Papa Dimitriou didn't. Was that right?
That's right.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Because they made it out at the time, and the fans got up there, weren't happy, and that's why they didn't sign him, if I recall.
Yeah, I remember that.
that was a good time. That was a good time.
There's never a dull moment with his club. That was at the peak of the off season as well. Imagine.
That's when we were screaming for a left back, probably from like a month or two prior we actually signed Max.
Yeah, yeah. It took forever to sign him.
I've been calling for a left back since December.
Yeah, you were.
From December, I was saying I knew we needed a left back.
And here we are now in just about October, and we still don't have a reliable new left back.
Truly. And Wankar is now at Aris.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's painful to see, but at least he's still playing.
So I can see Gotzeda becoming the backup left back if Max doesn't come through.
Very likely, yeah. We should wrap up the AEK talk. Predictions? Are we going to go for predictions or what you'd like to see or not like to see?
Oh, look, I'd love to see I don't think we're going to see it. I'd love to see a dominant win here and dominant win in Europe and a dominant win against Olympiacos. And we're back. Next time we're back on talking about 3 great wins and the whole mood changes. But realistically, 0-0, 1-0, I think, in this game.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, look, I'd take anything draw, would love a win. Even if it's the most scrappiest way where it deflects off 3 players, just a win would be amazing. Obviously, I don't want us to lose. I don't want Alonso, because we've lost to be sacked because, I wanted us to lose. I want us to win every game.
Of
I
course.
know Alonso is the right man to take us forward, but if he can continue winning, that will put us on a great track. It will alleviate the pressure, and let's see what he thinks or his philosophy of what he wanted to bring actually comes to fruition, because he was an amazing salesman in his opening introduction, but we haven't seen that yet. And the final topic, boys, the PAO BC Under the Stars. Wonderful event thrown by the basketball side of the club. We had one of our own, Alex, from one of our American friends and podcaster. He was there. Amazing. So we'll put up a video on our socials. But yeah, 42,000 in the ancient Olympic Stadium. If the match itself, just a friendly match that we lost against Partizan. Don't look into it too much. Sukas didn't play. It was just for a good cause. But what an event! What an event in the ancient Olympic Stadium. We are Athens. We're the Athenian team.
Under the stars, underneath the Acropolis.
Yep. Yep. And
In the new Fanella with the 7 stars and gold.
Even the reaction from the opposition players that came there, they were wowed by it. So that was amazing. What did you boys think of it?
Lucky Alex. Looked phenomenal.
It's great that Alex wanted to share some of the photos, videos of what he had there, but the fact that he said that there was a lot of families there, a lot of kids there, and we're full credit to Yanakopoulos and the administration because they've secured their future supporters with such a move. What a great program! I think one of the major accounts on X or Twitter from the US reported as well, and it's getting a lot of publicity around the world. And how good is that for their brand? How good is that in terms of just promoting Panathinaiko on the world stage? So absolutely fantastic. Results are relevant. Not
Yeah.
interested in discussing even how we played and all that. I did see one of our players, I can't remember who it was now, said that when you're playing outdoors, it's a weird feeling, it's a different feeling. You got the wind there, may shift the movement of the ball and all that. So it takes a bit of adjusting. So putting that to one side. The promotion of the club, first class.
Yeah.
Friendlies, we've got more coming up. I believe we've got one coming up overnight.
Yeah,
I think we're playing Galatasaray.
Exactly.
Yeah, fantastic event, and you can't see my picture clearly, but DPG put a comment and has called out the NBA teams to go, and he makes the point of come to Greece and we'll play at AEK and we'll have 80,000 in an outdoor stadium. So, but you know what? An NBA team, if they come, we'll pull it off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have 80,000.
That's what I was going to say before. The only thing that can now topple an event like this that the club has pulled off is that he's bringing an NBA team out.
Something tells me to be the Milwaukee Bucks.
Not the Celtics.
Champions.
Colors, Trifili.
Yeah. And Celtics are the most likely favorites heading into the season, according to all accounts. So would be great. I think bringing Boston, the Trifili, as Nick just said, would be the best option. Obviously, Yanni, the whole Greek thing, but DPJ would want the champions. I think he's got
No doubt.
shoulder.
Well,
doubt.
that's not going to happen anytime soon, though. If anything like that was to happen, because EuroLeague's under a fortnight away.
But you know what? If money talks, especially to bring an NBA team,
Would he do it during the season?
no, it will be around now.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to have to happen quick, though.
But next year, not now. Yeah.
Next, yeah, okay. But by then they might not win it.
Who knows? The NBA season, they're heading into the season as favorites.
Okay.
Yeah. He wants
The NBA was to organise some sort of European round where they played in different locations. So they did Paris last year. Was it last season where they played in Paris?
in Paris.
Yeah. So they did a European round and they had Athens and AEK as one of those rounds. That'd be awesome.
But yeah, the basketball season isn't too far, as you said, Nick. I think it's a week or two away. We got EuroLeague kicks off the 3rd of October, local time. So we open up against Alba Berlin. So fairly.
That's don't we have a game on that day as well, Europe? Or am I wrong?
We do have.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
We do.
We do. That's the conference league game.
That's okay. Okay, yeah. There you go.
So
The borders, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
same time. So yeah, a lot happening, a lot happening. So plenty of sport between the two Silogi, the BC and FC.
And for the Australian fans, the Borach game is at 5 a.m.
4.
Yes.
Is it 4 or 5?
5.
5.
We got lucky.
5.
We got lucky. It could have been that graveyard 2:45 a.m.
Yes. So we are lucky. 5 a.m. It's doable.
But in Greece time, that's 10 p.m. local time.
I believe so.
And the AEK game is 9 p.m.
Our time, isn't it?
Yeah.
4. Yeah, 4 our time.
Yeah, no 9 p.m. local time for the internationals or outside of Australia. But yeah,
These times are only going to last another couple of weeks. Then we change our times, then it becomes 8 hours for October.
for the Southern
Dallas only this weekend?
No, next weekend.
Next.
It's not going to affect anyone outside or on the Northern Hemisphere side, but anyone in Australia.
Just us. We get all of October. We're going to be 8 hours instead of 7. Then end of October we go 9 when Greece changes.
Okay.
But yeah, I think Anything else you boys want to bring up? Talk.
I hope we win. I hope, as I said, next time we're on, it'll be after the Gavri. I genuinely hope we're talking about 3 straight wins and the mood changes, but something tells me we're not going to see that.
We'll be before the Gavri, so we'll be previewing the Gavri game.
We'll be previewing. Okay.
Oh no, we'll be talking.
No, we'll be.
You're right. We're talking. Yeah.
Probably one thing that we didn't mention, and it just popped in my head now. Our record against AEK is, forget about how we've played. The refereeing has been terrible in recent games. So I sincerely hope it's a well refereed game.
Well, did you see what I put in our chat? He's failed this Lanois, the referee's boss. He's failed to find an elite ref. So we're off to a flyer.
And that's my concern. So he's hoping for a good result, but also for a fair result.
But even the European refs that we've had we've had Dabanovic, we had the Swedish guys that didn't believe in VAR. Yeah. With AEK, anything's possible. We saw the Polish refs that got drunk apparently. Yeah. Somehow these things only happen with AEK.
Fingers crossed.
And then Pizarro wanted to talk about Mafia.
Imagine what he's saying.
Yeah. I think we'll wrap it up with let's hope for a win against the Coolers. 3 points. So the next chat, they can obviously discuss all the positive things from that game, and Alonso's still in the job. Nick, Panathafan, pleasure.
Thanks, boys.